Welcome to Dark Deeds and Conspiracy, the podcast that unearths chilling true crimes and mind-bending conspiracies. Each episode, we explore a dark corner of history or a mystery that still haunts us today. Let's dive in.
Ever get that uncanny feeling when you're traveling? Like you've just scratched the surface of something much bigger, maybe even a little, secret?
Oh, absolutely. That sense of something hidden beneath the everyday. That's exactly what has fueled, countless stories about Denver International Airport pretty much since it opened.
Right. And as one of you pointed out, thanks for that suggestion. But by the way, those stories have grown into this really fascinating web of conspiracy theories.
They really have. It's quite something.
Absolutely. And we've got some great material here, a detailed rundown of the main legends, plus a web article that looks at how the airport itself is handling these myths, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, their approach is definitely interesting.
So let's just get right into it. Time for a deep dive into the wonderfully weird world of DIA conspiracies.
Sounds good. You know, what makes DIA such fertile ground for all this speculation is, well, it's a mix of things. It's sheer size, for one.
It's huge.
Huge. And then there are some undeniably peculiar artistic choices. We'll definitely get into those. Plus, the whole construction process itself, it's certainly raised some eyebrows.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the delays and budget issues.
Exactly. It's like a perfect storm for speculation. And the sheer variety of the theories, it's quite remarkable, really.
Okay, so let's start maybe with the big one. The theory that seems to be the foundation for a lot of others. This idea that DIA is secretly like the future headquarters for the New World Order.
Good NWO.
What are the clues that supposedly point to this, global power base hiding out near Denver?
Well, the cornerstone of this theory is quite literally a stone. Inside the airport, there's a dedication capstone, and it has this inscription, New World Airport Commission. Now, that's interesting right away because, well, no such commission has ever actually existed.
Really? So it just made up?
Seems like it, which naturally sparks suspicion. And then, adding to the mystery, you've got Masonic symbols etched right into the stone, the square and compass.
Ugh, the Freemasons.
Okay.
So for anyone listening who might not know, that symbol is usually linked to, craftsmanship, fraternal groups.
Right.
So the theory goes, this secret society, plus a non-existent commission, it all points to some shadowy elite pulling the strings for a global agenda right from under the runways.
That's pretty much the interpretation. Yeah, that's what many people have taken from it.
But the airport has a different story.
They do. The airport offers a different perspective. They explain the New World Airport Commission was meant to symbolize global connections, global access.
Okay.
And it's apparently a nod to Dvořák's New World Symphony.
Ah, okay. A musical reference.
Yeah. And regarding the Freemasons, the airport says, look, they created the cover for the time capsule under the stone, and they included their symbol, sure, but there's supposedly no evidence linking them to actually running the airport or anything like that.
Gotcha. So two very different takes on one stone. Okay, let's shift gears a bit, maybe go underground. Because the theories about bunkers and tunnels at DIA are, there's something else.
Oh, they really are.
We're talking government survival shelters, FEMA concentration camps,
Yeah.
even secret alien bases.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. The evidence people point to for these underground secrets often comes back to that construction phase we mentioned.
The delays and costs again.
Exactly. Significant budget overruns, substantial delays. Some people started thinking maybe these resources weren't just about mismanagement. Maybe they were funding huge, hidden underground projects.
Okay.
And then you had reports of strange tunnel systems, maybe structures down there that seemed unused. It all just added fuel to the fire.
So what does the airport say is actually down there? What's the official line on all these tunnels?
Well, the official explanation is that, yes, there's an expensive network of tunnels, but they were primarily built for a super high-tech, automated baggage handling system.
Oh, right, the infamous baggage system.
The very one, which, as you probably know, ultimately failed spectacularly and was abandoned.
So tunnels exist, but for baggage, not bunkers.
That's the official story. A vast network exists, but its original purpose was meant to be much more mundane, practical even.
But of course, the conspiracy theories don't just stop with a failed baggage system.
Oh, not at all. That's just the starting point for some. The theories get much bigger. They talk about multiple subterranean levels, deep underground.
How deep are we talking?
Like really deep. And suggesting connections to other supposed elite hubs, think NORAD, Area 51.
Wow.
Even the Vatican comes up in some versions.
The Vatican. Okay, that's a new one on me.
Yeah. And this whole idea of DIA as a post-apocalyptic survival hub, all stocked up and ready for a chosen few when, the end times come, that's a really persistent theme.
And didn't some construction workers claim strange things happened?
There are anecdotal accounts, yeah. People claim they worked on the site, got unusual assignments, saw weird cargo being moved around, heard strange noises, that sort of thing. You see the pattern. Hidden power, secret agendas, all happening just beneath the surface.
It really does sound like a modern myth being built in real time.
Yeah.
Well, the web article you mentioned, it also talked about some, let's say, less sinister explanations for weird stuff in the tunnels.
That's right. It seems there have been cases of airport employees having a bit of fun with it all.
Like pranks?
Exactly. Apparently, some staff were caught wearing lizard masks down there, kind of playing into the whole reptilian humanoid theory, which we'll get to, don't worry.
Would be lizard masks. Got it.
And yeah, there's graffiti in the tunnels. Some of it shows aliens, sure, but there's also just regular stuff, drawings, tags, suggesting maybe not everything unusual down there has some deep, dark meaning.
Right. Sometimes graffiti is just graffiti.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come back up to ground level, or rather, look at what's on the walls. The murals. These have caused just as much, if not more, debate.
Oh, absolutely. The murals are iconic in the conspiracy world.
Tell us about the artist and what makes the imagery so striking.
Okay, so the artist is Leo Tenguma, and two murals in particular. They're part of a larger piece, but these two sections get the most attention. Children of the world, dream of peace.
Yeah.
And in peace and harmony with nature.
Okay.
And the imagery is undeniably powerful. You've got like a figure in a gas mask looking very militaristic with a sword and a gun.
Right. I think I've seen pictures. It's intense.
Very. There are images of dead children lying in coffins, a ruined cityscape, forests on fire. And then in the other part, you see children from different nations handing over weapons to a central figure. There's a rainbow, people celebrating, and also this scene with the tree of life, but it includes extinct animals preserved in glass cases.
Wow. That paints a really vivid and, kind of unsettling picture just hearing it described. So how did the conspiracy theories interpret these scenes? What's the dark reading?
Well, the interpretations often go straight to things like depictions of future genocide, massive environmental destruction, the rise of a totalitarian, one-world government emerging from all this chaos.
Like a warning or a plan.
Some people see it as predictive programming, the idea that powerful groups use media or art to subtly condition us to accept future events, like they're showing us the grim future they have planned.
Okay, that's a pretty dark take. But what did the artist Tenguma say he intended?
His explanation is quite different. Tenguma stated that he meant them as allegories of peace and hope, actually.
Hope, with the gas masks and dead children?
Well, his idea was that one part shows the world being destroyed by war and pollution, the horrors we inflict. The other part shows humanity healing, coming together, different cultures living in peace and harmony with nature being restored. The stark imagery, he said, was meant as a wake-up call.
Ah, okay. So showing the bad to emphasize the need for the good.
Exactly. It's meant to make you think about these critical issues. Peace, environmentalism.
So it sounds like it's a classic case of really powerful, maybe disturbing imagery being taken out of its intended context.
Precisely. The style is very vivid, it's surreal, and if you just look at certain parts without the artist's narrative, it can easily feel dystopian or threatening. So you can see why they caused such a stir.
Makes sense. And are they still there now?
They're actually in storage at the moment because of ongoing construction at the airport, but the plan is for them to return once the work is done.
Okay, so they'll be back. Now, we have to talk about Blucifer.
Ah, Blucifer.
The giant blue horse statue with the glowing red eyes. Just saying it sounds ominous.
He's hard to miss. Officially, the sculpture's title is just Mustang. It's 32 feet tall, fiberglass, bright blue, created by Luis Jimenez. Definitely a memorable landmark right outside the airport.
But there's a tragic story connected to it, isn't there?
There is, unfortunately. Jimenez tragically died during its construction. A large piece of the sculpture actually fell on him in his studio.
Oh, wow. That's awful. And that must feed into the legends.
Absolutely. That terrible accident combined with the horse's, let's say, imposing appearance and those piercing red eyes, It's fueled all sorts of stories, that it's cursed, it's demonic.
Hence the nickname Blucifer.
Exactly. It caught on fast. People see it as a bad omen, a harbinger of the apocalypse, maybe representing one of the four horsemen, usually death or pestilence.
And inevitably, connections to the Illuminati.
Of course. It gets tied into Illuminati symbolism in some theories, too.
What's the official reason for those glowing red eyes, though? Surely they didn't intend it to look demonic.
The official explanation is actually quite touching. The glowing red eyes are meant as a tribute to Jimenez's father.
His father.
Yeah, his father owned a neon sign shop. So the red neon eyes were a nod to his family's history and craft. The effect is dramatic, yes, but the inspiration was personal.
Okay, that makes sense. So from a demonic horse, let's go completely off-world, aliens and reptilian layers. This is where things get really out there.
Indeed. This is where we venture into some of the more, shall we say, imaginative theories. The core idea here is that those underground facilities we talked about, they aren't just for humans.
Okay.
The theory suggests they're used for active interactions with extraterrestrials, or, in another popular version, they actually house reptilian humanoids.
Reptilians.
Or just
lizard people.
pretty much. The evidence cited is often the same stuff. Those reports of strange noises from below ground, weird symbols found around the airport, maybe some unverified accounts from employees who claim they saw something strange.
And this reptilian idea, it gets pretty detailed, doesn't it?
Oh, very. This expanded theory, which has been popularized by certain figures in the conspiracy world, suggests that these shape-shifting reptilian beings are secretly manipulating world governments.
Okay.
And DIA is supposedly a major base of operations for them, maybe even built with the cooperation of the U.S. government, according to some theories.
Shape-shifting reptilians running things from under DIA. What are they supposedly doing down there?
Well, the alleged activities cover a lot of ground. Things like genetic engineering, cloning.
Cloning.
Yeah, creating human-reptilian hybrids, developing mind control technologies, and generally monitoring and manipulating us, the global population. Some theories even suggest the tunnels are part of a high-speed network connecting DIA to other secret bases.
Oh, wow. It really does sound like science fiction.
Yeah.
And didn't the web article mention something about Roswell, like a joke between the airports?
Yes, that was pretty funny, actually. Back in 2019, Roswell International Air Center, near the site of the alleged UFO crash, and DIA playfully declared themselves supernatural sister airports.
Seriously.
Yeah. Their agreement even included this tongue-in-cheek clause about sharing strategies for, quote, extraterrestrial combat.
Huh. That's brilliant.
It really is. Like a perfect example of DIA leaning into the weirdness, embracing the lore around it.
Okay, let's maybe get our feet back on the ground slightly. Talk about some other weird architecture or symbols. The runway layout, I heard something about that.
Ah, yes. The runways. From certain angles, some people thought the layout looked like a swastika.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No. But this one has been pretty definitively debunked. If you look at aerial photos, a clear overhead view, it just doesn't form a swastika. The pattern might be unusual, sure, but it's not that symbol.
Okay, so that one's busted.
Huh.
What about the gargoyles inside the terminal? That seems like an odd choice for airport decor.
Right. You find them in the baggage claim area, kind of perched inside open suitcases.
Weird.
Definitely catches your eye. Conspiracy theories sometimes paint them as, like, malevolent guardians watching over things.
Okay.
But the official explanation is much more lighthearted. They're meant to be whimsical art pieces, adding some humor and playfully guarding the luggage.
Like good luck charms for your bags.
Sort of. And originally there was even an animatronic one called Gregoridon that would talk and make jokes.
I think I read about that. It talked to people.
Yeah, made cheeky comments about the conspiracies. Apparently it freaked some people out or was just too much, so it was eventually replaced with static ones, or maybe a less talkative version later on.
Oh, okay. And what about weird markings? Something about OAG.
Right, OAG. These letters appear on some floor tiles. Some theorists connected this to, believe it or not, a deadly bioweapon related to Australian antigen.
Australian antigen. Isn't that related to hepatitis B?
It is. It's a real marker for Hep B, but the conspiracy theory twisted it into something about a planned pandemic, using those letters as a code.
Okay, that seems like a stretch. What's the real meaning?
Much, much simpler. O and Ag are just the chemical symbols for gold and silver from the periodic table.
Oh, right. Chemistry 101.
Exactly. Possibly related to Colorado's mining history, maybe just decoration. But yeah, not a secret virus code.
It's amazing how simple things get twisted. What about other strange floor markings? Any other codes?
There are other markings, yeah. Some people speculated they were some kind of alien language, or secret messages, maybe even a survival guide hidden in plain sight.
And the reality?
The reality is they include Navajo language words referencing the region's Native American heritage, and also markings that are basically identifiers for the different artists who contributed to the airport's design elements.
So acknowledging the artists and local culture, not alien invasion plans.
Seemed that way.
It's fascinating how often there's a straightforward explanation. But the complex, mysterious one is just more appealing.
It often is, isn't it?
Which brings us to something really interesting you touched on earlier. The airport itself has started actively using these conspiracy theories in its marketing.
Exactly. This is a relatively recent shift, maybe starting seriously around 2018 or so. DIA decided to just lean into its weird reputation.
Instead of fighting it.
Instead of constantly denying everything, yeah. They sort of embraced the mystique. It's become a big part of their PR now.
Can you give some examples? How are they doing this?
Well, during some big renovation projects, they put up these construction signs with really jokey messages directly referencing the theories. Things like, building secret underground tunnels, or warning, potential portal construction ahead.
That's bold.
Totally. Or signs mentioning Illuminati headquarters or lizard people meeting rooms being relocated during the work. They also opened a kids' play area, I think late last year, December 2024, and the whole theme is outer space and aliens.
The subtle nod.
A not-so-subtle nod, maybe. And then you have things like the Voodoo Donuts shop there, which has this big blue alien mascot right at their counter. It all plays into that established DIA weirdness.
That's a really unique marketing strategy for an airport. How's that gone down? Do people like it?
Generally, yeah. I think a lot of people find it clever and funny. It gets them press coverage. It's memorable. But as the web article pointed out, the hardcore believers aren't necessarily amused.
They think it's a trick.
Some see it as the airport mocking them or trying to trivialize the theories. Others think it might even be a kind of double bluff, like hide the truth in plain sight by making fun of it so no one investigates seriously.
Wow. Okay. So even the attempt to be funny gets drawn back into the conspiracy.
Pretty much.
So let's just recap the why. Why DIA? Why has this specific airport become such a magnet for all these wild stories? What are the core ingredients?
It seems to be a combination of factors that just lined up perfectly. You had the significant construction delays and those huge budget overruns right from the start, which bred suspicion.
Right. Money always gets people talking.
Then the disastrous launch of the automated baggage system, the baggage system from hell that really didn't help public confidence.
Made them look incompetent or like they were hiding something.
Could be seen either way. Then just the physical stuff. The removal of temporary buildings after construction finished made some wonder what was being hidden or moved underground. And then, of course, the public art, the murals, Blucifer.
Yeah.
They're just so visually striking and open to interpretation. Add in that granite marker with the weird New World Airport Commission and the Freemason symbol.
Yeah, the dedication stone.
The cursed backstory of Blucifer adds another layer. And even just its location, it's quite isolated, out on the plains, feels remote.
All those things together create a kind of perfect storm for mystery.
Exactly.
And one last quick one, the web article mentioned a close encounters connection. That sounds like a deep cut.
Yeah, that's a lesser known one. The theory is that DIA's geographic coordinates, its latitude and longitude, perfectly match the coordinates given by the aliens in Spielberg's movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind for their landing spot at Devil's Tower.
Whoa. Really?
Well, that's the theory. But if you actually check the coordinates mentioned in the film, they point to a location near Devil's Tower, Wyoming, which is actually about 51 miles northwest of DIA.
Ah, so close, but not quite.
Not quite. Fun idea, links into the whole alien theme, but the geography doesn't actually match up.
Okay, so debunked. So wrapping up this deep dive then, we've covered a lot of ground. From New World Order plots and hidden bunkers.
To creepy murals, a demonic horse, aliens, reptilians, secret symbols everywhere.
And even the airport's own unusual way of playing along with all these myths.
Yeah. And what really stands out is this constant tension, isn't it, between the official explanations, which are often quite mundane, and these persistent, often really elaborate mysteries that people keep finding.
It really does highlight how human curiosity works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you mix in the allure of the unknown with some genuinely strange circumstances and really striking visuals.
Absolutely.
Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why do certain places or symbols become such lightning rods for conspiracy theories? What is it in us that wants to find these hidden narratives, especially when we encounter things that just seem odd or unexplained? Maybe the real mystery isn't just about what might or might not be hidden under Denver. Maybe it's also about why we're so drawn to these stories in the first place. What does that say about our need to make sense of things, particularly the things that feel a bit off?
That's a really interesting thought to end on. Why these particular stories take hold, what they reflect about our collective imagination, and that ongoing search for answers in a world that can often feel pretty strange all on its own.
Thanks for listening to Dark Deeds and Conspiracy. If this story intrigued you, tap the like and subscribe buttons. It helps more than you know. Got a case you want us to cover? Drop it in the comments. New episodes posted on Tuesdays. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and never stop searching for the truth.